It's been a while, but we're finally back in the garage. Been riding around like we've been towing a boat for the last couple of weeks, but finally got some Legacy springs in to replace the Outback springs because they were just too long to manage to squeeze onto the struts with the Koni inserts. So we're gonna get back to regular Legacy ride heights here. So far the car's been handling fine, no issues, no wear issues. Obviously, just looks like we're towing something or fully loaded all the time. So I'm gonna get the car up on the hoist, and we'll get these front wheels off, and then we'll get to work and start changing these springs out. And yeah, looking forward to having this thing down to regular, normal station wagon height. Okay, we got everything appropriately positioned on the hoist, and let's go up to the appropriate working height for old people, because I can't bend down anymore. Going up, and waiting for the clicks. Click, click, click. I think that's good. Not too high, not too low, since we got to deal with struts. Drop it down onto the blocks. Alright, we're ready to go. Let's pop these wheels off. I usually do everything by hand, but we're going to be a little bit rapido today. I already cracked those loose, that's why it was pretty easy. And do the same thing on the driver's side. No plug intended, but this M18 Milwaukee, it seems to do the job actually. I didn't have to loosen them off. I've tried before, and it can crack nuts that are torqued about 90 foot-pounds. But you know, I don't really like the hammering action when it's not really necessary. Alright, I'll get the wheels off and I'll start pulling the struts out. I'll save you the boredom of watching me do that. And I'll join you again when I have the strut out. We can compare some springs and things and see how it goes from there. So one thing I didn't realize, so this is the Outback strut. Yeah, so on the struts on the Subarus, which I mean I'm used to old cars, so I never saw this before. If you can see, there's a little scribe line there, and that's for the top camber bolt. And on the camber bolt there's a series of markings that get gradually wider apart. If I had taken my time and take a look at this before I took the suspension apart, I would have made a note of which mark on the bolt, on the camber bolt, was aligned with the scribe mark on the strut. So if I were to do this again, I would obviously make a note of which one it was on, so that when I put it back together again, I'd have the exact same camber bolt position, which theoretically would then keep the toe alignment as intended for the stock sweep through the suspension treble. But anyway, lesson learned on that one. The other thing was when I cut the strut for the insert, I saw online the instructions was like 46 millimeters, and then minus 6 millimeters for the depth of the lugs on the insert that basically swage and deform and press themselves into here when you tighten the bolt on the bottom. That was just misworded on the guy's video on Koni. It should actually be the 46 millimeters plus 6 millimeters. And the reason I think for that is that when you cut that, I think it was 52 millimeters I cut on this one, and then the swage lug actually pulls down even deeper than that. So if I followed their instructions, I did follow their instructions, and I had to do multiple cuts until I found the right length, which ended up being, I think it was 46 millimeters plus 6, which got me to 52. Yeah, and I think I have a picture that the bump stops are the same on the Legacy, are the same height on the Legacy and the Outback, just slightly different design. This one has 3 grooves, the other one only has 2 grooves. But otherwise, the struts are exactly the same, obviously, with the exception of the slightly shorter body here. Yeah. While I'm showing you the bump stops here, one thing I will emphasize is when you take the struts off, make sure you have strong support of the wheel assembly, because you don't want that axle to pop out of the transmission housing. It is a bit of a pain in the butt to actually get that put back in. So make sure you support the wheel hub and rotor. It's fairly heavy, so you need a strong bungee or straps to hold it in place. So this is the Legacy strut. Bit of a pain in the ass to compress the spring. I had to compress it quite a fair bit. I guess the Koni insert stroke is a fair bit shorter still even than the Legacy one. So you can see just aligning everything up the same as it was with the OEM. And yeah, so this will be the first strut together. And I'll take a quick, I don't know if I'll bother with the side-by-side of the Outback ones. I think there's stuff online already. If I find a good picture, I'll just put it inside this video. So yeah, so I'm just going to finish assembling this guy and then get her on the car and then work on the other side. Well, here's the passenger side installed. So this is the Legacy strut, Legacy springs, and yeah, Legacy top hat and all that stuff, because obviously the spring coil diameters are different than the Outback. So I measured the droop between this one and the other side, which is still the stock Outback one, and there's a 2.5 inch difference in the droop, which is basically the fully extended strut. So I think it's safe to say it's about a 2.5 inch drop. I've adjusted the camber bolt. That's the upper strut knuckle bolt was a camber bolt, so I have adjusted that one to be all the way out, so positive. Just I was expecting some kind of negative camber to happen from a 2.5 inch drop, so I'll walk over to the other side. You can see this is the back end. So I don't know how easy it is to see there, but you can see how much droop there is in that baby. So that's from the top of the rim, basically the top dead center of the rim, to the top dead center of the fender was 11.5 inches on this side, and on the side where I just put the Legacy strut in, it was 9 inches, so that's where I got my 2.5 inches. Okay, well, on to finishing the other side, and then we'll drop this baby down and see what we got, and go for an alignment. I might just do a quick string alignment on the driveway just to get the toe within reason. I don't want to burn up my new tires. Alright, small progress. Well, here it is. The job's done. Legacy struts and springs in on the front. The rear is the stock Outback springs. The shocks are Koni inserts in the front and just Koni sport rear struts in the back. So all in all, looks pretty cool. I'm quite happy with this. Bit of a pain in the ass getting it all done, but a couple of lessons learned. It looks like the camber curve is fairly gentle on this car, because even with this drop, not much camber change. So I'm hoping that the toe is still fairly reasonable. This is exactly how I wanted this car to look, just like a normal station wagon. Yeah, very happy.